Registrar, Osaberima Dr. Kwesiata, Omahini Vogwa, traditional area, Okatechi Kome, the 7th or the 8th, Omahini of Commander traditional area. His Grace Archbishop Palmer-Buckle, the Metropolitan Archbishop of Cape Coast, Dr. Johnson Pandit Asiama, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Your Excellency Manish Gupta, Indian High Commissioner, Professor Olusola Bandela Oyelo, Secretary General, Association of African Universities, the IGP, Christian Tete Yuhonu, Vice Chancellors and Pro-Vice Chancellors of sister universities, former Vice Chancellors, former Pro-Vice Chancellors and Registrars, Provosts, Deans, Directors and Heads of Academic and Administrative Departments, Convocation and Senior Officers of the University, staff and students, alumni, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is with a full heart and deep pride that I welcome all of you to this momentous occasion, an occasion that is not merely a ceremony, but a declaration. A declaration by the University of Cape Coast that excellence will be recognized, that service will be honored, and that the women and men who will give themselves to build this nation and this institution shall not labor in obscurity. Ladies and gentlemen, today is historic. For the first time in the storied history of this great university, we confer the title of Distinguished Fellow. And we do so upon a daughter of this university who, in every sense, is worthy of being the first. Ladies and gentlemen, institutions are living things. They breathe through their people. They grow through their alumni. They endure through the values they instill. And they are defined in no small measure by the caliber of those they produce. Professor Jane Naana Opoku-Agyemang is without question one of the finest leaders this university has ever produced. And one of the finest it has had the privilege of welcoming back as a leader. I speak to you today not only as your Chancellor, but as one who had the distinct honor and privilege of working alongside her during her tenure as Vice Chancellor of this university. I witnessed her leadership at close quarters. I saw the rigor that brought to every decision, the grace she extended to every person, the courage she displayed in every challenge. And I can tell you with full authority of personal experience that what you will hear about her today is nothing, it's not ceremony. What you hear about her today is the truth. She is a trailblazer, and I use that word with precision, not poetry. To blaze a trail is not simply to be the first. It is to go where no path exists, to push through the undergrowth with determination and vision, so that those who come behind may walk more easily. That is what our honoree has done. Not once, but repeatedly in almost every chapter of a truly remarkable life. As head girl of our revered Wesley Girls High School, forgive me. My first girlfriend was from Holy Child. The seeds of leadership were already self-evident. A young woman trusted by her peers and teachers alike to head, to serve, and to represent. At this university, she became the first female vice chancellor in the history of this university. And I'm proud to note that she's the first female vice chancellor of any public university in the history of this great nation. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me pause for a moment on that fact alone. In a nation and a system that have for decades reserved the highest offices of academic leadership for men alone. Our honoree broke through, not through confrontation, but through undeniable excellence. And the nation took notice. She went on to become our first female vice president, the highest position ever held by a woman in the constitutional history of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not footnotes in her biography. These are chapters that have been rewritten, the possibilities for every Ghanaian girl who dares to dream. So let me be very clear. Professor Opoku-Agyemang's greatness does not rest on the barriers she broke. Indeed, it rests on what she built. As Vice Chancellor of this university, she presided over a period of genuine institutional transformation. She strengthened the academic programs and research culture. She deepened the university's engagement with national development. She elevated our standing and sharpened our sense of purpose. She governed with a steady and calm hand, a clear mind, and an unwavering commitment to the welfare of every member of the community, from the most senior professor to the most junior student. I have known many leaders in my life. The finest of them share a quality that is easy to describe but difficult to practice. They lead not for themselves, but for others. They measure success not by personal achievement, but by the advancement of those in their care. Professor Opoku-Agyemang is that kind of leader. Her scholarship in the field of African literature and gender studies has enriched intellectual heritage. Her advocacy for women's rights and children's welfare has given voice to the voiceless. Her commitment to education, not merely as a vocation, but as a national calling, has inspired reform and policy at the highest levels of government. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the marks of a life well lived and a career faithfully served. I have spoken of her achievement. I've spoken of her leadership. But there's a quality that underpins it all, and it is, in truth, the rarest quality in public life. And here I speak of integrity. Throughout her public life, from the lecture halls of this university to the highest offices of national governance, Professor Opoku-Agyemang has maintained an unblemished record. Not a single scandal, not a whisper of controversy, in a world where power so often corrodes and where public trust so often frays. He has navigated the full complexity of leadership with her honor completely intact. That, ladies and gentlemen, is no small thing. It is, in fact, everything. She is a true patriot, and I use that word carefully because patriotism is not a sentiment. It is a practice. It is the daily, unglamorous, demanding choice to place the welfare of one's country above personal convenience, personal gain, and personal comfort. It is unwavering honesty when honesty is costly. It is selfless dedication when dedication is exhausting. It is a profound and abiding commitment to the greater good, even when the greater good asks everything of you. These are not qualities that Professor Opoku-Agyemang has displayed. These are not qualities that she has displayed occasionally. They are qualities that she has embodied consistently across decades in every role she has held. In these times, ladies and gentlemen, when trust in public institutions is tested, when cynicism threatens to become the default posture of citizens towards their leaders, her example shines as a beacon. She reminds us, by the simple act of living as she has lived, that principled leadership is not a relic of a nobler age. It is possible. it is practiced, it is present among us today, and it is vital, utterly vital, for Ghana's progress, unity, and future. A person of achievement inspires admiration. A person of integrity inspires trust. Professor Opoku-Agyemang is both, and that rare combination is precisely why this honor is not only fitting but necessary. To our students, and I address you directly, for you are the reason this university exists. I want you to look carefully at the woman we honor today. She sat in classrooms not unlike the ones you sit in now. She walked the same grounds you walk. She faced the same doubts, the same pressures, the same temptation to underestimate herself that every student goes through. And she chose again and again the harder path, the path of diligence, the path of courage, and the path of service. The education you receive at this university is not merely a preparation for employment. It is a preparation for leadership. It is a preparation for contribution. It is a preparation to become the kind of person who one day may stand where our honoree stands today. Not because you sought recognition, but because you gave everything you had to something larger than yourself. Let her life be your instruction. Let her example be your ambition. Ladies and gentlemen, universities are among the most enduring institutions that human civilization has produced. They are older than most governments. They are older than most nations. They endure because they are repositories of knowledge, yes, but also because they are custodians of values. One of those values is the recognition of excellence. When a university honors its distinguished members, it does something profoundly important. It tells the world what it stands for. It says, these are the qualities we aspire to. This is the kind of person we seek to produce. This is the standard by which we measure a life well served. By honoring Professor Opoku-Agyemang today, our university sends a message to Ghana, to Africa, and indeed to the world, that we value intellectual rigor, we value moral courage, we value humble service and inclusive leadership. We honor not power for its own sake, but power deployed in the service of others. And in doing so, we inspire. We inspire the young woman in a rural community who wonders whether the world has room for her ambitions. We inspire the student who doubts whether education can truly change a life. We inspire the next generation of leaders to reach higher, serve better, and build more enduringly. That is the power of this moment. That is why today matters, ladies and gentlemen. Now, on behalf of the council, the faculty, the staff, and the alumni, and the students of this great university, Your Excellency, we offer you our deepest congratulations and our heartfelt gratitude. You have given our university something that cannot be manufactured or produced or purchased, the glory of a great name. Whenever UCC is mentioned, your name is part of what it makes that mention a matter of pride. You have made us better by your example, stronger by your leadership, and more hopeful by your life. We don't honor you today because you need the honor. We don't honor you today because we need the example, and because this institution stands for nothing if it cannot recognize greatness when it stands before it. May the Almighty continue to sustain you, guide you, and crown your remaining years of service with even greater fruit. Ladies and gentlemen, universities don't last because of their buildings. They last because of their people, and because each generation in its time rises to the challenge of excellence and service. Today, we honor and celebrate one such person. Today, the university is proud. Long live the university, long live Ghana, and long may Her Excellency continue to inspire all of us. Now we come to the part that I like the most, a recognition of my power. By the powers vested in me as the Chancellor of this university, I hereby constitute this assembly into a special congregation for the conferment of the Distinguished Fellow Award. Thank you very much for your attention.
At this juncture, we'll take the address of the Acting Vice-Chancellor of University of Cape Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Professor Dennis Walanyo Aheto.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang. Dr. Sir Sam Jonah, Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, members of the Council of State, Ministers of State, members of the Diplomatic Corps, honorable members of Parliament, His Lordship Justice William Atuguba, Chairman of the Governing Council, Nana Sam Brew Butler, former Chairman of Council, members of the University Council, Gideon Enoch Abekwe Esquire, Registrar of the University of Cape Coast, Osaberima Dr. Kwesiata II, Omanhene of the Ogua Traditional Area, Oketechi Kome the 8th, Omanhene of the Komenda Traditional Area, Nananom, His Grace Archbishop Palmer Buckle, Metropolitan Archbishop of Cape Coast, Dr. John Pandit Siama, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Your Excellency Manish Gupta, Indian High Commissioner to Ghana, Professor Olusola Oyewole, Secretary General of the Association of African Universities, COP Christian Tete Yohonu, IGP, Vice Chancellors and Pro-Vice Chancellors of sister universities, former Vice Chancellors, former Pro-Vice Chancellors, former registrars of UCC, provosts, deans, directors, heads of academic and administrative departments, convocation and senior officers of the university, staff and students, alumni, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my great honor and privilege, on behalf of the Governing Council and management of the University of Cape Coast, to warmly welcome you all to this special ceremony for the conferment of the Distinguished Fellow Award on Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang. Sir Chancellor, the University of Cape Coast, since its establishment, has remained committed to the pursuit of academic excellence, the advancement of knowledge, and service to society. Beyond our core mandate of teaching, research, and community engagement, the university takes pride in recognizing and honoring individuals whose lives and achievements exemplify and amplify the highest ideals of scholarship, leadership, and service to humanity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, over the years, the university has maintained this rich tradition of celebrating excellence and achievement by conferring honors and honorary degrees on distinguished personalities who have contributed significantly to national and global development. Sir Chancellor, the Distinguished Fellow Award, however, represents one of the highest honors to be bestowed by the University of Cape Coast. Indeed, today marks the first time this award is being conferred, and it is reserved for individuals whose exceptional accomplishments, leadership, and service strongly resonate with the mission and values of our great institution. Sir Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, this ceremony, the female dean of the Faculty of Arts, the first female dean of the School of Graduate Studies, and subsequently the first female vice chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. And indeed, as the chancellor has noted, the first woman to lead any public university in Ghana. Given this remarkable record of pioneering leadership and service, it is hardly surprising that she rose to the high office of the first female vice chancellor of the vice president of the Republic of Ghana. Her journey, therefore, stands as a powerful testament to excellence, perseverance, and the limitless possibilities of leadership grounded in scholarship and public service. Sir Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency's extraordinary journey in academia, leadership, and public service continue to motivate many across Ghana, Africa, and the global community at large. Her contributions to education, governance, and national development reflect the core values that higher education institutions aim to instill in future generations. This occasion, therefore, offers the university community a special opportunity not only to celebrate excellence, but also to honor leadership, scholarship, and service to the nation and humanity. Sir Chancellor, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to also report that during her tenure as Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Her Excellency championed academic excellence, fostered institutional growth, and enhanced the university's international visibility through strategic partnerships and with other institutions of higher learning across the world. Among Her Excellency's many accomplishments was the establishment of the Oil and Gas Institute, the Faculty of Law, and the crèche at the preschool. Her tenure also saw the expansion of the university printing press and the establishment of the Misata Language Center. In addition, the Faculty of Education Lecture Theatre Complex and the Diagnostic Center at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital were completed, to mention a few. Ladies and gentlemen, as a distinguished fellow, she was also very concerned about attracting talents and the university's overall human capital development. I, as well as many others, stand as living proof of her visionary leadership and legacy. Her leadership also contributed significantly to improved research outputs and academic standards. The strong foundation and scholarship established during her tenure helped position the university for national and international recognition. The university is ranked the topmost university in Ghana and West Africa for the 5th consecutive year by the Times Higher Education World University Rankings and the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings. The university is also ranked among the top 11 universities in Africa and top 11 in sub-Saharan Africa, while sustaining its leadership in research quality, regionally affirming UCC's standing as a world-class research-intensive university committed to excellence and impact. Sir Chancellor, friends of the media, I am pleased to report that on Monday, 2nd March 2026, our university signed a memorandum of agreement with Astra Learning Incorporated towards the establishment of a fully digital e-campus for the University of Cape Coast. This initiative is expected to enhance UCC's global visibility, expand international student recruitment, strengthen operational efficiency, and enable a scalable growth of our academic programs. The first batch of students is expected to be enrolled for the next academic year beginning in August 2026, with a projected intake of 10,000 learners annually through our e-campus ecosystem. Sir Chancellor, despite these achievements, the university currently faces a significant deficit when it comes to student housing facilities. Existing residential facilities on campus are no longer able to meet the needs of our growing student population. This situation calls for urgent strategic intervention and investments in student housing infrastructure. In this regard, the university strongly aligns itself with the government's Big Push agenda, which seeks to address critical infrastructure needs through coordinated public investment, innovative financing models, and strategic partnerships with credible private sector investors. We therefore call on our alumni, partners, friends, and all stakeholders who support efforts to provide adequate housing and conducive teaching and learning environment for our students. Sir Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to also add that the university will consider it as a great honor to name one of these facilities after Her Excellency Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang. Sir Chancellor, on behalf of the Governing Council, management, staff, and faculty of the University of Cape Coast, I wish to state that Her Excellency's return to this academic community on this historic occasion is a great honor and deeply meaningful to us. It provides us with a great joy and opportunity not only to celebrate her achievements, but also to express our profound gratitude for her distinguished and meritorious service to the university, the nation, and humanity, particularly her unwavering commitment to public service, gender equality, and national development. Indeed, we are deeply honored by the presence of our distinguished guests, partners, members of the university community, well-wishers who have joined us today from all walks of life to witness this memorable event in the history of the University of Cape Coast. Once again, I join the Chancellor in extending a very warm welcome to you all and thank you for honoring our invitation to be part of this very important and historic occasion. Thank you all for your attention, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the crux of today's ceremony, and that is the conferment of the Distinguished Fellow Award on Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Ahead of this, we would take the citation reading, and this will be done by the immediate past Pro-Vice Chancellor of UCC, Professor Rosemond Aboagyewa-Boahene.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang. Born on November 22nd, 1951 in Cape Coast, Ghana, you received your secondary school education at Wesley Girls High School, where you completed both your ordinary and advanced level studies and as senior prefect. You further pursued advanced French studies, earning an advanced diploma in French studies from the University of Dakar, now Sheikh Anta Diop University, in 1976. In 1977, you graduated from the University of Cape Coast with a Bachelor of Arts, honors degree in English and French, along with a concurrent diploma in education. You then continued your postgraduate studies at York University in Toronto, Canada, where you obtained your Master of Arts degree in 1980 and your Doctor of Philosophy in 1986. In 1986, you were appointed lecturer at the University of Cape Coast and rose through the ranks to become a full professor in 2006. With dedication, you served the university in various capacities as Hall Warden at Adishe Hall. First, actually, that was my Hall Warden. First woman head, Department of English. First woman dean of the Faculty of Arts. First woman dean of the School of Graduate Studies, and first woman and founding dean of the School of Graduate Studies and Research, a position you held until September 2008. You served in various academic portfolios between 1993 and 2008 as a visiting professor, Africana Summer Institute, USA, senior Fulbright scholar, and fellow of the Institute of Advanced Study and Research into the African Humanities, USA, exchange professor, Eastern Washington University, USA, guest lecturer, Ohio University Summer Institute of African Literature, USA, academic director, School for International Training, Ghana African Diaspora Studies. You later became the first female vice chancellor of a public university in Ghana, where you were appointed vice chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. Under your distinguished leadership as vice chancellor, the university achieved remarkable growth in scholarship. The university invested substantially in faculty and staff development, which resulted in significant increase in the number of faculty with terminal degrees. During your tenure as Vice Chancellor, the university achieved significant institutional growth and infrastructural development in various areas, including establishment of the Oil and Gas Institute, establishment of the Faculty of Law, establishment of a creche at the preschool, expansion of the university printing press, establishment of the Emisa Atta Language Center, completion of the Faculty of Education Lecture Theatre Complex, completion of the Diagnosis Center at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, rehabilitation of laboratories at the Technology Village of the School of Agriculture, commencement of the construction of a training and resource center for the College of Distance Education at Agoya Nyakru. Your term as Vice Chancellor also enhanced the university's international visibility through increased collaboration with other institutions of higher learning. You have served on and chaired several national and international boards and committees, notably the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO Executive Board, Africa Initiative Advisory Board, Canada, Adam Matthew Digital, UK, Association of African Universities Governing Board, School for International Training, USA, Dean's Advisory Board, Commonwealth University Study Abroad Executive Committee, founding president of the Association of West African Universities, Graphic Communications Group Limited, Harriet Tubman Series on African Diaspora, York University, Canada, International Advisory Board, Nigeria Hinterland Project of York University and UNESCO, African Humanities Project of Carnegie Corporation Selection Committee. Another clap. Thank you. You have received various national and international awards and honors, including Officer of the Order of Volta of the Republic of Ghana in 2011 for your contribution to higher education, Outstanding Contribution to Education by the Africa Education Leadership Awards, Global Leadership Award by the University of Florida, Ghana Women of Excellence Award, Education category, Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, University of West Indies, 2010, Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, Winston-Salem State University, North Carolina, 2011, Doctor of Humane Letters, in 2004, the chiefs and elders of the Commander Traditional Area bestowed in your care the ancient sword of the founding fathers of Commander in recognition of your immense contribution to the education of the youth in the traditional area. Another clap. You demonstrated sustained commitment to advance women's access to education in general as a member and eventually as an African board chair of the Forum of African Women Educationalists, influencing educational policies in 34 African countries and higher education, where from 2018 to 2024, you said your extensive publications in both national and international journals, your authorship of book chapters, and your role as editor of academic writings are but commendable. You have participated in and presented papers at several national and international conferences. Your publication and presentations are on African literature, gender roles in society, the African diaspora, and management issues in higher education. You believe that the university should provide students with options to career openings. Cases in point include supporting Liberia to rebuild its education system, strengthening the meat processing unit of the School of Agriculture. You also build closer links with the hospitality industry, the production of cleaning materials, drinking water, and preparations for paper conversion plant on campus. In February 2013, you were appointed to the high office of Minister of Education of the Republic of Ghana. Your stewardship saw significant growth in the education sector through your effective leadership in policy implementation, which of teacher absenteeism from 27% to 7%, deepening basic education, and expanded access to quality education for men. In recognition of your invaluable contribution to the university and the nation, the University of Cape Coast awarded you with the Doctor of Letters honoris causa in 2015 at a special congregation ceremony where you were honored alongside other distinguished individuals. In December 2024, you made history as Ghana's first female vice president-elect after your party After your party, the National Democratic Congress, emerged winner in the 2024 general elections. You were subsequently sworn in on January 7, 2025, as Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. This landmark achievement carries profound national and international significance for your distinguished service to your alma mater as an illustrious alumna and for your unwavering commitment to society at large. Your tireless advocacy for equity and the rights of women, children, and marginalized, as well as your outstanding contributions to academic governance, leadership, and policy implementation in the broader educational sector, stand as of the Republic of Ghana, represent a historic feat unmatched by any other member of the university. Excellency, outstanding alumna, indefatigable woman of many firsts, leader, scholar, researcher, writer, administrator, role model, and mentor, the University of Cape Coast salutes you. Thank you very much for your attention.
Kindly resume your seat. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, this afternoon we celebrate a woman of first. And so it is not surprising that at the maiden edition of the Distinguished Fellow Award ceremony here at the University of Cape Coast, she stands as the first recipient. In the next 10 minutes, we'll play you a documentary that further celebrates her achievements. Please enjoy.
The University of Cape Coast has been ranked the #1 university in Ghana and West Africa for 5 consecutive years. Over the years, it has produced some of the nation's best minds. Today, the university honors one of its own, a former vice-chancellor, a national trailblazer, and Ghana's first female vice president, Jane Naana Opoku-Agyemang. Where does this remarkable woman originate from? Just 32 kilometers west of Cape Coast lies Komenda, a land rich in tradition and history, founded by the great Nana Kome. This is where Nana traces her roots.
Pempeyara ya mami nyamiadum wabaye amampanyin na bedichi oyanhoho akase mam papa titi Komenda traditional area na traditional council sende osida bra kwame nkruma bagi nyane fanwuzi wakwa wabade mpempenya bisia abaye amampanyin na bedichi nyane mami anade kitechi ni bei jisi na nwa de obokun owo akokodin ti de mayi woden no yehu de wa fa kitechi su wa fa Komenda su wa fa Komenda sunsum wa fa Komenda ahozen wa fa Komenda ahurase wa fa Komenda bu ni mama yehu de Komenda ye profa ye nwa ye zina ye ndazimba enti ndazimba no so dazibia no nutwomi ye zina
I'm Mama Prenaya Nana. na anyi na na kasa ehu de ofifie oye bia watutu owo enyize ogbadze na kasa so the form nso oye bia daba mepede into ofata ose university there one backward Yamina dum baby wake gina was so bachelor when you saw the Ofi University of Cape Coast. They can be a worker gina. Now, what about them? What that chair of money reading in our there, Yabe one man a day. Yet our nature.
Jane joined the University of Cape Coast in 1973 as a student reading Bachelor of Education in English and French, graduating in 1977. She returned to the university as a lecturer in 1986. Here, she held various academic positions including Head of the Department of English, Dean of the Faculty of Arts, and Warden of Adeshe Hall, just to mention a few. Through sheer hard work, determination and focus, she got to the pinnacle of her career as Vice-Chancellor in 2008.
During her term as a Vice-Chancellor, she actually promoted not just academic excellence and research excellence, but she was also involved in a number of faculty and staff development, improved student access to the university, particularly promotion of gender, equality, gender mainstreaming in leadership position, particularly for women, which was quite significant. She focused largely also on human capital development.
These days that she's becoming the vice president, she's very busy. But in those days when she had a little time, anytime she came around to Cape Coast, she would call and say, Sarah, come around, Brian, them. And, she's one person that is interested in the Women Caucus on campus. And so, from time to time, she will invite them, and I was always there. Anytime there's such an invite.
So the class that I took, conversational French, she was in that class, and she was the head prefect. She was the head prefect of the school. That's already a leadership position at a very young age. Then she got in here and she became warden of the Women's Hall. That's another position of leadership. Then she became head of department of English. Then she became dean of the Faculty of Art. I was a teacher. She became my colleague, and then she became my boss, and then she became vice-chancellor. So she's been traveling this leadership position at various stages, and then she went through her mandate as vice-chancellor, and now she's vice president of the Republic.
Not only did she focus on that high-level educational for the preschool outfit of this university, she was also involved in massive infrastructural development. To just mention the CA Aka building, the Misata Language Center. She also established the printing press for this university, and many other very critical areas when it comes to infrastructural development.
She held the position of Vice-Chancellor until she received a call to a higher national assignment as the Minister of Education from 2013 through to 2017. During her tenure, she championed inclusive education and oversaw key reforms to expand access to quality education across the influence extended beyond Ghana's borders to the global stage. In 2009, she was elected Ghana's representative to the UNESCO Executive Board, bringing an African scholarly voice to one of the world's foremost institutions for education, science, and culture.
As I said, thank you very much. Let me say that it's been a very, very valuable visit.
As a woman who has achieved such remarkable success in life, she must certainly be an influence on students and staff.
As a student leader, I think that in a dispensation and era where ladies, females, women, and girls have not been celebrated much, I think that she has become the pinnacle where everybody looks up to. Even the young men are looking up to her, rising from head of department to dean to vice chancellor of the University of Cape Coast as the first female and becoming the vice president of Ghana. I think that it's an encouragement to we as student leaders as well, and to even the larger people in Ghana. I feel that it's not about where you are. It's not a matter of your geographical location, but wherever you find yourself, whether from the shores of Elmina or the shores of Keta or the northern part of Ghana or even from Insuta Mampombonkob, it means that when we see the picture of Her Excellency Naana Opoku-Agyemang, it is a motivation to us that one day we can also get there.
Seeing the former Vice Chancellor becoming the first female Vice President in Ghana as a lady excites me and inspired me also, because it shows that as a lady, when you work smart and study hard, you can achieve greater things in society.
Mamino Oyinipa, or yeah, or bad time, because of bad time, Oyinipa. Yeah, me doing what say me about Pena, see all training, all teach you training.
Today, the University of Cape Coast doesn't just confer a title, but celebrates a journey from mentoring students to shaping a nation. Jane didn't just break a ceiling, she redrew the blueprint. And in Ghana's story, her chapter is still being written. For every woman who was told to wait, every student who dared to dream beyond the obvious, every Ghanaian who needed proof that it was possible, now they have it.
Which we call the ruling, and to present our nominee to the Chancellor for the conferment and ruling. The Chancellor will be supported by the Acting Vice Chancellor and the Chairman of Council. However, the Chairman of Council will introduce our nominee. Let's welcome His Lordship, Justice William Atuguba.
Sir Chancellor, I, Justice William Anam Atuguba, JSC retired, Chairman of the University of Cape Coast Governing Council, present to you Her Excellency Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, for the conferment of Distinguished Fellow Award. Thank you. Chairman of the Governing Council, by the powers and authority vested in me as the Chancellor of this great university, I, Samuel Isonjona, Chancellor, now hereby confer the Distinguished Fellow Award on you, Your Excellency, Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang. Please accept my congratulations.
Opoku Junior etu Ghana Franca ko wiazi nyine. Yes, enije na saw. Ye bowudin wo bagwam. Etwa kwampa amamba nyina. Atrede. Obo adenara mpo. Oye batan pa ampa. Obatana Owa hinfo na itichu abinyim di bokar shampuntu the befie manda emanyina imbesiafo nyina etum esinjinai pa ma echiri manso ehungana nenyimnyam Obinfo, Your Excellency, Naana Jane Opoku-Agyemang, Wudin Ohonam, anyone nyina se. Agyemang, why ya bako sama mana yen senna wa, obin to me tren numpo. Na kampesa wapepa ebe Ghana's first female vice president. You are evidence that what was once thought impossible or an elusive dream is possible. You are a symbol of history in the making, paying glowing tribute to the matriarchs gone before. Your personal and public track record in education as a student, teacher, and policymaker is an enviable achievement to attain. Ohimba na nekua mamna mbo obo modern away wodo baraka mochum aya zedodo when you mean shroud, befu, awa aye, and you mean yamun raba ya kenkan. Our own black star of a woman. Woo! Nous sommes prêts à attaque. Nana Gumbrabre. 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 Gumbrabre.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to listen to the acceptance speech of our distinguished fellow. Let's welcome Her Excellency Professor Naana Jane Opoku-Agyemang.
Thank you very much. Please respectfully take your seats. And thank you all very much. For a minute, I thought Casford was going to sing. Kingsley Hayford, I have not forgotten you. Apart from addressing Ananom and the Chancellor, please allow me to refer to the protocol which has been very ably established and address everyone as Ebusiafo. That's my word for family. I think we are all family, aren't we? Ebusiafo, good afternoon. It is always a joy to be back at the University of Cape Coast. Let me begin by sincerely thanking the Chancellor, the Governing Council, the organizers of this event, the entire university community, and everyone who is here today for this great honor. Friends, former students and current ones too, and all well wishers. But please allow me to single out Professor Atabruchu, who was my own lecturer, who has known me since lower sixth. Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is something special about the recognition that comes from home. This is where my higher education began and where my professional life took shape. It is one of the places where I learned that knowledge carries responsibilities beyond oneself. This campus was the backdrop of my life as a student, a national service person, a lecturer with different appointments and responsibilities, a professor, a vice chancellor, and of course, as a mother too. And when I left the university, I did my best to carry its lessons into my non-academic roles. Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, this is because this institution instills certain principles in those who are shaped by it. The first is that the pursuit of knowledge is meant to bring illumination, not only for personal edification. Now more than ever, our societies must rely on meticulous research and evidence, as well as the conviction that knowledge and facts can be buried but never extinguished. In other words, truth, our light. Since this university was founded by Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, it has served as a reminder that Ghana has always invested heavily in the education of her people. It has reflected our nation's strong faith in the transformative power of education. Those of us who benefit from this investment understand that higher education, even today, is a privilege. Therefore, we need to ask whether the knowledge we acquire serves the society that made it possible. At UCC, that question is never abstract. This campus is surrounded by 7 towns, which offer a daily reminder that academia exists within a living community. Our education tasks us to go beyond theoretical knowledge and make tangible improvements in our nation so that we can take genuine pride in our identity and capabilities. Distinguished guests, that responsibility does not belong only to scholars. It belongs to every person who benefits from the work of our institutions. Ultimately, the work of higher education is rooted in a subtle form of stewardship that everyone, whether or not they are part of a university community, can practice. We all inherit established systems, ideas, and institutions. We must examine them carefully, strengthen them where possible, and contribute something of ourselves to improve them. Sir Chancellor, this is one of the principles of our community. The other lesson is just as vital: to pass out and pass on, to find out and pass on, We are invited, regardless of our professions or backgrounds, to be somebody else's teacher, to guide, to advise, and uplift others, and in so doing, hold the future in trust for those who follow. The value of our work should be judged not so much by how loudly it is praised, but by what we discover for our own generation, or by what we discover for our own generations, but above all, whether what it leaves for Ghana is stronger, what it leaves for Ghana is clearer, or is more valuable than what we received. If knowledge is meant to light our way, our role is to carefully do the work of discovery and leave the path clearer than we found it. If we do that well, and it is our duty to do it well, the next generation will go further than we did. They will see more clearly, develop more skills, and act with greater confidence than we could in our time. And when knowledge is steadily passed on, refined, and used in service, institutions grow stronger, the best ideas travel farther, and the work of building a nation moves forward in concrete ways. This is how a country becomes better than the one we inherited. I want to thank the University of Cape Coast once more for this exceptional recognition that leaves me truly humbled and deeply grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Kindly resume your seats. We'll take another interlude, this time in the form of a cultural display from the Department of Music. Ago. Ago. Yerbete anansa some. A very long time ago, as I was sitting in the silences of my heart and thinking of thinking and thinking about thinking, I saw in my mind's eye a woman. To say beautiful is an understatement. Very unusual. She had on the top of her head a lamp. And beneath that, oh, there you are. The image I saw. And I looked closely. And what did I see? This woman walked glamorously past me. And I looked at her, the back of her head, and it was like somebody else's face. I am telling you the beauty that she beheld. And then I asked, so who is this woman? I followed her closely, and I realized that the light upon her head lit up spaces as she went. And I remembered that this is the song. And you know, this woman, wherever she went, her radiance took over the space. Ebe, I looked at her and I said, who is this woman? And I said, oh yeah, Inyimina, Ebe, Mayan Talo, Mayan Blow. And I was told her name. I was shocked. I looked at her again, drenched in all glory. And wherever she stepped, radiance, radiance, radiance. No! And you know, I saw that she entered the room and she sat down. And from nowhere, people gathered in front of her. Ebe, I looked on, enchanted, as she poured out wisdom into their lives. And as the people listened, their own bulbs began to light. Hong, 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 hong. And the image began to spread like electricity that has fallen into water. Hey! And then I stood and I watched. And I said, now who is this? Who is this enchanting being? That day you were there. So she showed her light. Anybody who was there, let's see your light. A great many, you see, I wasn't lying. A great many lights began to pop.
here, there, and everywhere. And when she finished speaking, and with all grace, she stepped out and was walking. People walked in her steps and followed her with their bulbs on. I ask you today. I ask you today. In all your doings and in all your tellings, let us know that you have sat under her feet. What can you do to radiate the light that you have just received? My dears, you have a song for me. You have light to show me. Her light has even radiated into the youth of today. Many blessings upon you. I tell you today, think about what you can do to grow some more light, because it is a very simple journey of courage and determination. Saman beye ya efri ya nara. Saman beye ya nefri ya nara. Yama yambera ye sebeye ya nefri. Meda amane beye ya. Oh sagana man beye ya nefri ya nara. Yama yambaranye ye zabeye ya nefiya. Ama funfre ye.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gradually inching to the end of the ceremony. At this juncture, I would ask that you help me acknowledge the following distinguished personalities who have graced this occasion. I'll commence with Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Jane Naana Opoku-Agyemang. We duly acknowledge the Chief of Staff Office of the Vice President, Honorable Alex Segbefia. We acknowledge the Honorable Central Regional Minister, Mr. Eko Penyin Eduamoa. Inspector General of Ghana Police Service, Mr. Christian Tete Yohonu. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Pandit Isiama. The High Commissioner of India, His Excellency EMVN Paramaswaran. Former Chairman of the UCC Governing Council, Nana Brew Butler. The Honorable Member of Parliament for Cape Coast North, Dr. Kwame Mintanyako. The Honorable MCE for Cape Coast, Justice George Asa. Professor George K.T. Odro is Technical Advisor to the Minister of Education, and today he's representing the Minister for Education. Professor Ernest Kofi Davis is Director General, Ghana Education Service. We acknowledge the Political Advisor to the Vice President's Office, Honorable Dr. Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo. We duly also acknowledge the Head of Administration at the Vice President's Office, Mrs. Alberta Yah Graham. From the Office of the Vice President, Professor Theresa Enin. We acknowledge the Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Sir Sam Eson Jonah. The Chairman of the Governing Council of University of Cape Coast, Justice William Anam Atuguba. The Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Dennis Walanyo Aheto. The Registrar, Gideon Enoch Abekwe, Esquire. We acknowledge Osabarima Dr. Kwisata II Ogwamanhin. Therefore, Amwakwa Bwedu the 8th is President, Central Regional House of Chiefs. Okatechi Kome the 8th is Commander Manhin. We also acknowledge the Kronte Hima of Ogwa Traditional Area and the Queen Mother of Efutu Nanamba Eyaba II. We extend so much appreciation to all Nananom present who have graced the occasion. I would acknowledge the following members of council: Dr. Abdul Nasir Alidu, Ms. Shika Akolache, Mr. Anthony Awatri Bosumefi. They are government reps on council. We acknowledge Mr. Mohammed Kwansin, Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools rep, Professor Samuel Akwa, Convocation Representative on Council, Professorial, Anastasia Asante Esquire, Convocation Representative on Council, non-professorial, Dr. Jerry Opoku Ansa, President, University Teachers Association of Ghana, UCC, Mr. Benjamin Mensah Gorman, Chairman, Teachers and Education Workers Union, UCC, Mr. Gideon Kwanzaa, President, Graduate Students Association, UCC, Mr. Kwame Ntiamwa Intim, President, Student Representative Council, UCC, Samuel Danso Akoto Esquire, is Alumni President, UCC. We also extend so much appreciation to the Archbishop Palmer Buckle, Catholic Bishop of Cape Coast, Professor Stephen Jobson Mitchell, Vice Chancellor, University of Education, Winneba, Professor Domwene Dabere Kumpole, former Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, Professor Joseph Gate Ampia, former Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, Professor Rosemond Abuajiwabuohene, former Pro-Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, the Chief Executive of Stratcom Africa and President of IPR Ghana, Ms. Esther Koba. We extend appreciation to all regional commanders and security heads present. We also duly acknowledge all former vice-chancellors, pro-vice-chancellors present. We also acknowledge all vice-chancellors, pro-vice-chancellors and registrars of sister universities who have graced the occasion, all provosts, deans, directors, heads of departments and offices, and members of convocation, staff, students, alumni present. We duly acknowledge you all. And also to our distinguished invited guests, we are grateful that you came. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I would invite the Chancellor of the University to dissolve this special ceremony.
All protocol duly observed. On behalf of the Council and the management of this great university, I wish to once again express appreciation to you for honoring our invitation to this very special congregation. It is now my pleasure to declare this assembly dissolved. I wish you all safe journey to your various destinations. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll all rise and sing the UCC anthem. before the recession will take.
As we wrap up, I end with these words. Others have labored and will share their glory. Ours is to exploit and add to their fame. Those who come after will take up the story. I took this particular phrase from how the Vice President concluded with a presentation. It says, academia must go beyond theoretical knowledge and make impact on the communities they find themselves and the people they serve. We must guide, advise, and uplift others. I believe that this distinguished woman will be history for people to talk about once they begin to read her achievements. Belinda.
The University of Cape Coast also said Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang is, without question, one of the finest leaders this university has ever produced, and one of the finest it has had the privilege of welcoming back as a leader. And he also said that throughout her entire public life, from the lecture halls of this prestigious university to the highest offices of national governance, Professor Opoku-Agyemang has maintained an unblemished record, not a single scandal, not a whisper of controversy. And that is it here from
so that's how we wrap up from the new examination center at the University of Cape Coast, where Excellency Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang has been receiving the accolades after the presentation of the Distinguished Fellow Award, which she has just been bestowed upon her. So thank you, and see you again. Bye for now.
As we depart from this gathering, go with us and remain with us. Guide our paths, protect us in our journeys, and help us to use the knowledge and opportunities you have given us for the good of humanity. We thank you for hearing our prayer. And now, may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen.
We shall remain standing for the Vice President's recession together with the Chancellor of the University. Members of convocation will hold on a bit. Members of convocation will hold on a bit. There's going to be a photo session out.